Good morning. My name is Julia. We are in my kitchen this morning. I have a couple of food projects, things that I want to get done. So I'm going to see what I can knock out this morning. The first thing that I'm going to do is make a batch of brownies. It is only 10 in the morning, but today is Friday, since I'm working a part-time schedule. It is already my weekend, and we tomorrow are going to go visit a friend who is pregnant with her second, so we are going to bring over a nice treat, and I thought brownies would be the perfect thing. I haven't made brownies in a really long time, and these are the best brownies in the world. When I first tried this brownie recipe, I said, these are the brownies for the rest of my life. So that is how strongly I feel about it, and I've got all my ingredients out here, and that's what we're gonna do first. So this recipe is from a book called An Everlasting Meal, which I highly recommend if you like to cook, like to bake. Highly recommend that book. This recipe is called Amy's Brownies, and I will put the recipe in the description box below. It's really quite simple. You might hear a baby cooing. We've got a baby and a dad sitting right over behind me.
Hi guys.
Something that is interesting about this recipe is that it does not use cocoa powder. It uses baker's chocolate, unsweetened baking chocolate. So the first step for this recipe is that I'm going to get a cup of butter melted along with 4 ounces of baking chocolate. And to do that, we're going to use a double boiler, which is basically just a pot of water with a heat-proof bowl on top of it, and that goes over the heat. And it's just the residual heat that melts those together instead of putting the chocolate and butter directly in a pan over the heat. It's just a little more gentle. It means that you have less of a risk of burning your ingredients, burning your chocolate. So here is my double boiler. I'm just gonna get the heat on this. And I've got a cup of butter. This is coming straight from the freezer, and I originally was like, oh shoot, I forgot to take out butter. I can't make this yet. I need this butter to be softer. And then I remembered it's getting melted, so it doesn't even matter. Oops. And while this starts to melt, I'm just gonna give a little chop, or maybe I'll just break it up. The baking chocolate just comes in a bar, which means it will take a little bit longer to melt than like chocolate chips or something like that. So I'll just break it up into smaller pieces, toss it in here as well. Oh, bless you. Our baby is almost 12 weeks old, which is amazing and also absolutely devastating. Parents out there might understand. I just can't believe that the time has gone so fast. We switched all of his clothes over from 0 to 3 to 3 to 6 months, and that hit me hard. Knowing that he fits into them and he's not swimming in them makes it even sadder. I was like, okay, at least if we put them on and they're, you know, he looks little in them, that'll feel okay. Yeah, no, we put him in them and they fit him perfectly. So that's sad, but it's also very exciting because he is growing. He's clearly developing. He is super talkative these days. He loves to coo and babble. I don't know if you just heard him right there. We do a lot of mimicking back to him the sounds that he makes just to help encourage that speech. And he's super smiley now. He used to be so serious, and he's like right on the verge of laughter. I'm gonna say he has laughed, but it's like not. It's not consistent, but it's just, it's incredible, but also devastating at the same time. Last night, my husband was sending me pictures and videos of him from when he was a newborn, and he just looked so little. It's okay. We love him. We want him to grow up. We're glad that he is happy and healthy.
He's the best, and he's very cute right now.
He is very cute, and he really is the best. Yeah, we're those parents. Once this butter and chocolate mixture is completely melted, it needs to cool for about 5 minutes because we add the other ingredients directly to it, which includes eggs. And if you add eggs to something hot, it's gonna scramble your eggs. And we don't want scrambled eggs, we want brownies. So when this is cooling, I will start preheating the oven to 375, and I will also prepare my baking dish. The recipe just says to grease a pan, but I have found that these brownies are pretty, like, not crumbly. They're very soft. They're really fudgy brownies, and they're very soft. So they're hard to cut. They're hard to get out of the pan, and they're hard to cut. So what I'm actually gonna do is put a piece of parchment down and then give that just a light spray with cooking spray, because that way I can, once it cools, I can lift the whole parchment paper out and get them off out of the pan way, way easier. The first few times I made these, I really struggled to get brownies that stayed together once I tried to cut them. So that has been my solution. I have a few other projects that I'm hoping to get done in the kitchen today. One is to start a new batch of vanilla extract. I've been making my own vanilla extract for several years, 4 or 5 years, and it is just supreme. It feels like it costs more because you have to buy vanilla beans, you have to buy, I use vodka, but you can use rum, I don't even know. I use vodka, so it can feel like that startup cost is higher than if you just go to the store and buy a bottle of pure vanilla extract. However, the volume that you get when you make it yourself, it actually is cheaper per ounce, and it is honestly just unbeatable. All that you need is vanilla beans and liquor, like vodka, and the flavor is really just unbeatable. So hopefully I will get another batch of that started. It does take several weeks for it to infuse. I have never waited as long as recipes online will recommend, and I have never had a problem with it not being strong enough. So I'll probably just wait until the color looks about where I want it, and then I'll start using it. I'm pretty much down to the bottom of what I made the last time I made it, so I'm just gonna pour that into like a little glass Tupperware container and wash out my bottle and reuse my bottle. Another task I'd like to get done is not so much a cooking task, but I use orange peel infused vinegar for cleaning in my kitchen. That's really what I use to like clean my stovetop, you know, the front of the appliances, things like that. I am all out. So my husband has like a tangerine. Is that a tangerine?
Yeah.
My husband has a tangerine that he is gonna eat. I'm not like a huge citrus person. So I'm gonna take his tangerine peel and put it in my spray bottle with some white vinegar and let that infuse for a little while as well. And finally, I think for dinner, we're going to do crock pot pulled pork and have pulled pork sandwiches. I have not made this before. In my life, I generally do not eat a lot of animal products, but during pregnancy and postpartum, I've been way more lenient with that, just feeling like I'm just gonna eat what feels good to my body right now. We're gonna have crock pot pulled pork, and hopefully that turns out well. All right, this is just about completely melted. There are a couple tiny pieces left in here of butter that are not melted, but I'm gonna turn off that burner. The residual heat in this will melt the rest of this as it kind of cools down to temperature. And while that cools, I'm gonna prepare this tray. A trick to get your parchment paper to fit in your pans better, because obviously this doesn't fit so well when you just sort of try to squish it in the corners. If you crinkle it, it fits into the corners a lot better. And of course, once I pour the brownie batter in here, it'll really fill out a lot better. But even just as a starting point, this is tremendously better. So I'm going to get my oven preheated, like I said, to 375. I'm gonna move my bowl because this is where my oven exhaust heat comes out of and it gets very hot. So I want this to cool. Carefully move this over here. To be honest, I have not been paying attention to how long this has been cooling. I don't think it's been 5 minutes yet, but I am going to just stir it up a little bit to help it cool down faster, basically just agitating the surface, the part that is cooling the fastest. We'll get 3 eggs cracked into here, one at a time, and then comes the sugar and vanilla. Now, there are 2 cups of sugar that go into this brownie mix. That might seem like a lot, but you have to remember there is no sugar in the chocolate. So there is no other sugar going into this besides what we're adding in here. You can also add in mix-ins like chocolate chips or nuts. I haven't done that. I think it would be delicious, but I am kind of a brownie purist and I just love a plain fudgy brownie. And I feel strongly that a brownie should be fudgy because if you like a cake brownie, just eat a piece of cake. The texture looks weird once you add the eggs in, but don't worry, it all comes together perfectly well once we add the flour. I'll get my vanilla in here as well. You can see I really am getting down to the bottom of my jar. And I don't measure vanilla with a measuring spoon. I measure with the heart. So it calls for 2 teaspoons. We're just gonna do what we want. Give this a nice mix. Oh, it smells so good. Honestly, before you add the sugar in, like it doesn't smell that great. Plain chocolate is really quite bitter. And I like bitter chocolate. I like bittersweet. I like semi-sweet. I like dark chocolate. You know, in terms of like the sweetness factor, the aroma just completely changes when you get the sugar added in. All right, that looks beautiful, and you can already tell the texture on that is so thick and glossy. The only thing left now is 1 cup of flour. This is a 1/2 cup measure. It fits in my flour container a lot better, so I'm just gonna do 2 1/2 cups. And I think at this point, I'm gonna switch back to my spatula just to get this final mixing done. Woo! Oven is now preheated just in time. Get this mixed together. This is beautiful, glossy, chocolatey. I'm gonna give this a quick spray, just light, and get our batter poured in. I'm just gonna spread this to the corners. You do want to make sure that you get it spread really evenly. These brownies are on the thinner side. They're not going to be super thick, but they are really, really rich, so they're kind of perfect just how they are. I suppose you could make them in a smaller pan. And now, these are ready to go in the oven. These will bake in 25 to 30-ish minutes. Hello. But I will put the timer on for 20 minutes and check them just to make sure. You never know. You want to say hi? While the brownies are in the oven, I am going to get started on my vanilla extract. Vanilla beans can be expensive. I ordered mine off of Amazon. There's probably better places that you can get them, but I had good luck ordering this same exact kind last time I made this, so I just reordered them. Recipes online for making your own vanilla extract will say you need X number of beans per ounces of liquid or whatever, milliliters. The number that it calls for is extraordinary, and I have never used that much, and I have always had perfectly good, wonderful vanilla extract. So I just have one of these packages, which is 10 beans, and I basically just fill this bottle, and I have no idea how many ounces this bottle is, but I knew at one point, and this is perfect. I mean, you can see the deep, rich color in that, and that's really what you want. So I grabbed a small glass Tupperware that I'm going to pour the rest of this into, and then I will be fishing out the vanilla beans and cleaning this bottle as best as I can. And you can see all of the beautiful, it kind of looks like sludge or coffee grounds, but that is all just the actual beans from the vanilla pods. That is what imparts the beautiful, delicious flavor. I know Becky from Acre Homestead reuses her spent vanilla beans. She dehydrates them and then makes vanilla sugar. I don't have a dehydrator. I know that I could do it in the oven on low, but to me, it's really just not worth it. That's kind of like a someday dream that I'll be able to have a freeze dryer, a dehydrator, things like that. But for now, I have gotten the use out of those vanilla beans, and we'll give this a wash. While this bottle just dries out a little bit, I am going to work on getting these beans prepared. I will put a link in the description to the vanilla beans that I used. Make your own decisions, don't be influenced, but I've had good luck with these beans. So the thing that you need to do to prepare the vanilla beans is basically slice them, one slice down the middle the long way. You don't want to cut all the way through, but slicing slightly open allows the actual beans inside to infuse, because like I said, that is the part that actually imparts the vanilla flavor into the liquor. These are the beans, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, perfect. And I'm just gonna take a little paring knife and slice right through, just like that on each of these. Now I'm just gonna drop these right into my bottle, and then I'm just gonna top this off with vodka. You do not need to use nice vodka to do this. Oh boy, just spilled. Top that off. Give this a wipe. And truly, it is that easy. So right now you can see it just looks like vodka, but over the days and weeks to come, it will infuse with those vanilla beans and it will darken in color. And like I said, I don't wait as long as the internet says that you need to wait. I just go based on the color. If it looks deep and rich and dark, I think it's ready to use. I'll keep this in a cool, dry place. I put it in a cabinet in my kitchen, and then every couple of days while it's still infusing, I'll just make sure to sort of spin it around, give it a nice little, you know, toss up and down. And that is our vanilla. Now on to the last project for now. I am going to refill my spray bottle to make my kitchen cleaner, which is just vinegar and citrus peels. I have a cheapo plastic spray bottle that I got at like Dollar Tree years ago. I don't even know how long ago. And I have the peel of a tangerine, which I'm going to drop into my bottle. And all I have to do is top this with distilled white vinegar and let it sit for a little while, a few days before I use it. This is great for cutting grease. This is pretty much what I use exclusively on my stovetop. I don't use it on my granite countertops. I do have stone cleaner for that, but it is a great sort of general cleaner. I use it in the bathroom as well. And that's it. It is truly that simple. Easiest project of the day, I guess. Okay, this brownie timer did just go off. They're probably not done yet. Yeah, I'm gonna do another 5 minutes. They've probably been in there another 2 since the timer already went off, so 27 minutes probably. I might end up going the whole 30. Like I said, these brownies tend to be very soft, I guess is the only word that I can think. They don't crumble, but they do fall apart. So getting them cooked all the way through is definitely important. Okay, I just took the brownies out of the oven. They are looking fabulous. They do need to cool completely. Like I said, they tend to be soft. So what I'm gonna do is let them cool all the way, and then I will just remove the entire parchment carefully from the pan and slice them that way, and then I will be able to get them out in squares, brownie shapes, instead of just one big crumbly mess. Hello again. It has been several hours. Brownies are obviously completely cooled, so I am going to cut those up now. Baby has just been brought next to me. It's his little head. I also have a roast, not a roast, I guess it's a roast going in the crock pot for the pulled pork. That still has about another hour and a half until I take it out, shred it, and add other ingredients. It's literally just pork.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's not your fault. It is just pork, it is completely unseasoned. I probably could have like salted and peppered it before I put it in, but I did not. I'll take you along when I do the next step there, but for now, I'm going to cut up the brownies. All right, I'm going to try my best to transfer these brownies from the pan to the counter, hopefully without them falling apart. Oh yeah, that was beautiful. The thing that I love about baking something like cookies or brownies rather than a cake or a pie is that you can sample. So here is a corner piece. Ooh. They're so good. And it's been so long since I've had them. If you like brownies, fudgy brownies, highly, highly, highly recommend you try this recipe. Like I said, it will be in the description down below. Shout out to Amy's Brownies from An Everlasting Meal. Truly the best. Unbeatable. Now the recipe that I'm using for this barbecue pulled pork is from this crock pot cookbook. My sister gave me this cookbook when she gave me my first crock pot like 10 or 11 years ago. I've never cooked this recipe, so we'll see together if it's any good. Besides the pork, which it's a shoulder roast or butt roast, same thing, you add barbecue sauce, whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is, lemon juice, brown sugar, onion, and then you obviously serve it on buns. And we got some coleslaw to serve it with. And I believe we also have some pickles in the refrigerator that I will probably have on my sandwich. So once this basically reaches the amount of time that it's supposed to be in there, I'll take it out, shred it, get rid of most of the cooking juices and the fat, and then add in all the other ingredients, put it back on high for another hour or so to finish cooking, and then we'll be able to have dinner. So this was about 6 hours after I put this meat in the crock pot. I'm just pulling off the meat, getting it set aside in a bowl, getting rid of most of the fat. There was quite a big fat cap on this, and getting it shredded in that separate bowl. I discarded all of the bones and the fat and the cooking liquid, and just adding the shredded meat back into the crock pot along with barbecue sauce. We just picked up some Sweet Baby Ray's, but you could use whatever you like. I got some chopped white onion, as well as a little bit of lemon juice. It did call for fresh lemon juice, but I didn't feel like getting a lemon. And then finally, a little bit of brown sugar. Got that all mixed together nice and well, and put that back in the crock pot for another hour, a little bit more than an hour to finish cooking. So I have my Hawaiian rolls sliced, and I'm just gonna basically fill this with our pulled pork. I'm gonna put the tops on, brush it with a little bit of melted butter, and pop it in the oven just to get a little delicious, crispy, crunchy. And we will serve this with some coleslaw. this is the finished product. I know it doesn't look very appetizing, but I promise it was delicious. Would make this again. My husband also enjoyed it through a shaka, and that's all she wrote. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.